I'm Dr. Nirmala Devi, Assistant Professor of English in the Department of Freshman Engineering, St. Martin's Engineering College. Today, my presentation is entitled on developing communication skills. How to develop communication skills? Having good communication skills is the fundamental to success in many aspects of life, and it can help you your personal and professional life. In many other situations, people who have good communication skills in better productivity and improved relationship. Before we start this topic, and we want to need to understand what is mean by communication and what is mean by communication skills. Communication is an art. So here communication means we have to transfer our feelings and ideas and thoughts from one person to another person. Communication can be classified into two types. One is verbal communication, another one is non-verbal communication. Verbal communication means use of words and use of sentences. Look at here. Verbal, and another one is it comes for non-verbal. Here in this verbal communication, we have to make a communication, a channel processing like speaker, encoding, transmission, decoding, listener. Here both the speaker and listener should understand the same language. If a lecturer gives a lecture in Chinese or Japanese to the students of India, there is no communication. Indian students understand neither Japanese nor Chinese. To use some technical terms, the sender encodes the message and the message passes through the medium and the receiver decodes the message. Long distance telephone calls sometimes may disrupt and the messages may not reach the receiver. Here abstraction to the process is called noise. Here encoding means express ideas in words. Transmission is also called as medium. Directly through mic, air or phone. And decoding means understanding the speaker's message. Now we come to this non-verbal communication. We can pass on our thoughts and feelings and ideas to another without use of any words. This is called non-verbal communication. For example, if you extend your arm and pull it back, you are asking somebody to come. An angry look from the father will convey so much of emotions to the son. The audience clap at the end of the program. It means the program is very good. A railway officer waves a flag and the train starts. The traffic lights, red, amber, green, guides traffic effectively. I'm sure that a lot of students will also having concern about improving their communication skills. So I'm sure that students from engineering or business management or regardless or whatever the field they come from, most of the people might want to become a politician tomorrow. And then this is a very important skill. And individuals' communication skills and their leadership skills, which can correlate, can distinguish and can mark the journey of one's life achievement. A first myth is that I want to clear this. Good communication doesn't mean knowing the English language. Many people have a misconception. If I have learned to English, I want to learn to communicate. Sorry, English is a language, communication is a skill. There are two different things. Even after you are knowing good English, your communication can be pathetic. And when required, you are not able to speak up. If you know no language, God forbid, just imagine one is born in jungle itself. He doesn't know any language, but only knows body language. Right, let that be. Two people in jungle. The person A's body language will be different from the person's B's communication. Yes or no? Communication is an art. It can be learned, that can be developed. And English as a language, it can be learned. Now the problem is a mistake which most people make. They learn from words from the dictionaries and they try to insert it wherever it is possible. We try to impress others. In the same way, we try to search some immensely and strange and critical words. So today we are going to learn to know about how we have to better your communication skills from working place. Let us get started with our super goals. Communication skills are the abilities you use when receiving and giving different kinds of information. Some examples include communicating with ideas or feelings or even an update on your project. Communication skills involve listening, speaking, observing, and emphasizing. A leader's ability to communicate clearly and effectively with the employees within the teams and across the team members is one of the foundation for a successful business. And then today's complex, that means it's quickly evolving a business environment with the hundreds of different communication tools we should follow and partially or fully remote teams and even multicultural teams and spanning the multiple time zones. And effective communication has been nothing more important or more challenging. Thus, the ability to communicate a manager might be a most critical skill. The good news is that we can be learned all these skills and even mastered. The ability to make a communicate and to convey your ideas and suggestions to others is an important skill, either in speech or in writing. You must learn at least two or three languages thoroughly according to the rules of pronunciation and grammar in order to communicate with others. Then you should understand what others says. Then you can reply properly. So let's come to that next about the types of communication. Here, then this verbal communication is divided into two major types. One is oral communication and another one is written communication. And based on this style of communication and purpose of this speech, we have to divide into two parts. One is formal and another one is informal. Let me see that another types it comes later. So now we look at the first one is for oral communication. Oral communication means is the process of sharing information to others and through a spoken word and sounds. It can be formal and informal. Then it can involve into two different types. That means one-to-one communication, another one is face-to-face communication, telephone communication, and public speeches. Next, it comes for written communication. Written communication, whether it comes an email or report or memo or a Facebook post or any others, all the forms like the even like this contract forms. So all these forms of written communication, it has the same goal to dispensable informations in clear and at the same time it's a concise manner. Written communication is also known as auto communication or inner speech. And we must know the two important things about this written communication in the digital age. The first one is write well. Poorly constructed sentences and careless errors you find look bad. And the second one is ensure the content of the message. In fact, poor writing skills, it also makes it too challenging as well as embarrassment. Next, it comes for formal and informal communication. So, formal communication, this is official and planned and uses for the structured languages. And this formal communication have a specific channels like emails and letters. Then formal communications uses in professional settings and it also follows a predefined protocols. Next, it comes for the informal communication. This is more casual and spontaneous as well as relaxed. So, this informal communication often uses our everyday languages with conversation as well as we also make as a text messages to anyone. So, informal communication, it can leak and break off the sentence structure. Next, it comes for interpersonal communication. So, here interpersonal communication, that means the communication it refers to the one into another people. That means we have to make interpersonal communication with two members or many persons. It can exchange the ideas, messages, and informations with individuals. So, interpersonal communication has take many forms like face-to-face communications and telephone calls and emails and video conferences. Next, it comes for intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication can be defined as communication with oneself, and it also include like a self-talk and act of imagination and visualization and recall and memory. Intrapersonal communication is also known as auto communication or inner speech, and this communication is also we have to call as we make a communication with ourselves or oneself. So, self to self communication. Examples are thinking about oneself. For example, I will do better next time after having made a mistake. After this, we have to see the next one for the visual communication. We are a visual society. So, thinking about it. Continue.
Use penman to scroll the. Continue.
Okay. Think about this visual communication. For example, televisions are running 24 into 7 and Facebook is visual and it is also on memes and videos and images, etc. Instagram is an imagery and it also image only platform. So many advertisers use this imagery to sell products and your thoughts and your ideas. Think about it from your personal perspective. We post images on the social media, but at the same time, it is conveyed to meanings and to communicate information. Next, it comes for small group communication. So, small group communications, it also happens that a communication between a small group of people to achieve a common goal. For example, as team meetings and group discussions, and even like that, group study and family discussion. Language skills is the foundation for communication skills. Both are important for personal and professional life. There are four skills are involved in language learning: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. It's simply called as LS or W. So first it comes for the listening skills. Listening is the first activity. Listening skills is the absorption of the meaning of words and sentences by the brain. Listening leads to the understanding of fact and ideas. Listening takes attention to the task at hand in spite of distraction. It requires concentration and which is focused on your thought upon one particular problem. A person who incorporate listening with attention and concentration is called actively listening. There are two types of listening: active listening and passive listening. So, passive listening, that means hearing is a physical activity. When you are sitting in your room and you are reading something, you are able to hear to some of the noises in your room, that means the bowling of the wind or rattling vessels in the kitchen and your father shouting at somebody and so on. So you just hear the sound, you go and continue to read on your book. When you walk along the road, you hear the sounds from the people and the shops. While traveling on the bus, that time you hear the sounds from the people. So these sounds you just hear and leave that place. So you give not more importance for these sounds. This is called passive listening or hearing. And comes to that active listening. On the other hand, when your teacher teaches or when your father or mother says something to you, that time you just listen with attention. You understand what they are saying. If it is an order, you obey it. For example, tune on radio and switch on the fan and read the newspaper on every day. Like this, whatever it comes for the commands through that order, you must obey it. This is called active listening, or and this is a mental activity. So next it comes for this different types of the listening. So listen to the news items, reports and dramas, poetry and short stories, and even current affairs and speeches by the international personalities. All these are requires careful attention with concentration. Whenever you listen this news items must be focused on the headlines and important news which is updated. While listening it, one must record immediately that main points. The same strategy should be followed to listen news items and reports as well as current affairs also. Next, it comes for when you listen the drama, one must be concentrate on the story and the dialogue is spoken by the characters. It is a continuous process. There is no disturbance. Then the story should be recorded on your mind. Next, it comes to whenever you listen, that poetry should be perfect and concentration. Or whoever listen at very first time, there is no chance to understand the meaning of the poem as well as the theme of the poem and the rhythm of the language. So it requires more concentration, as well as several times you have to listen this type of the poetry, then you can understand the meaning of the poetry and the theme of the poetry. When listen to that short story, it's very easier than listen to anything else. When you listen this short story, it's quite easier to listen any stories, because many people prefer to listen the stories, because it is easily, it's a record on the mind. It is not like the cases like to listen news items, current affairs and reports. And next it comes for the speeches by the international personality. To listen this type of the speeches, you must make a concentration and through attention and involvement. The speech, whatever it's having that language, you just analyze, then you understand, and you just focus on the speaker to impress. This is the capable of a speaker. There are three steps of listening. That's one is a hearing, understanding, and judging. These three are the basic steps of a real listening. Hearing just means a listening. It's enough to the listener whatever he want to hear and the speaker what he is saying. Understanding, the next part of listening, happens when you take what you have heard and understand in your own way. Judging, after you are sure you understand what the speaker is said, and think about it, whether it makes sense or not. So, listening is the first activity of a child to learn a language. Speaking is the second activity. The growing child must imitate everything from father and mother and anyone and gradually begin to speak. The earliest man first began to speak, not write. Any child first learn to speak, not write. In speaking, we can express our feelings, emotions, and thoughts through the modulation of the speech and raising and lowering of their voice by changing the pitch of the voices, etc. So, for example, love, hatred, ambition, happy, sad, enmity, and jealousy, all these emotions we express through speech only. Uneducated people completely depend on speech, and many tribal languages, there is no written form of language, only on spoken. So, the ability of spoken are the speaking skills to express our feelings and thoughts and in our thinking and information through a group or a person. So here these are the skills, here are some of the ways we have to improve our speaking skills. Practice regularly to improve your speaking skills. Reading aloud can help you to improve your pronunciation, fluency and overall speaking skills. Listen to your language is the primary step to improve your communication skills, and pay attention to the sounds and rhythm of the language can help you to improve of your pronunciation. Know your audience, consider your audience when you speak, and pay attention of your body language, eye contacts and gestures. Then it is analyzed through improve of your communication skills, and developing listening skills. Practice actively skills and active listening in the language. It help to how you hold your conversation and engage your listener and talk to yourself in the language in which you have to improve to learn to think about the language. And watching English movies can help you to improve your pronunciation, and it also similar to know the language. Record yourself speaking, and I also work on speech impediments. If you have any speech impediment or disorder, you just work on it and speak clearly. Learn to singing or acting can help you to improve your speaking skills. Build your vocabulary. You know more words. It's easier. It will be find the right one when it's needed. Writing skills. Here are some ways to improve your writing skills. Writing regularly is the one of the best way to improve your writing skills. At least you write a paragraph a day or 15 to 30 minutes a day. Learn the basics, research, grammar, and spelling, and you also general knowing about the writing principles. Get feedback. Ask feedback for others on your writing skills to see how they interrupt it. And you can join writing community, and you also just seek what is the professional coaching and proofread. Set aside time to revisit your writing skills and catch any errors, and consider structure. Make sure your structure can help you to convey that big ideas to the reader. Be conscious. Avoid unnecessary words and phrases. Be yourself. Let us shine your personality through in your writing skills. Create a writing ritual. If you have any specific scent or drink or any ritual writing can help you get over writing resistance. Separate writing and editing. Don't edit while you are writing. Focus on your main idea. If you have any specific idea you try to convey, you can explain more broadly. Reading is the cognitive process to understand a written or linguistic messages and to examine and to grasp the meaning of written and printed characters. Here, reading is a language of acquisition, of communication, and of sharing information and ideas. There are four technical skills we have to use for this reading: skimming, scanning, and intensive reading and extensive reading. Here, skimming, it is used to find most important information or gist. Run your eyes over the text and find and noting important information. It is essential to understand each and every word for skimming. And next, scanning, it is used to find a particular piece of information. Run your eyes over the text and find a specific piece of information. Scanning on meeting plans and schedules, etc. And next, it also focus. For example, watch TV sections in the newspaper and train and aeroplane schedule. It comes the next one: extensive and intensive reading. Extensive reading is used to obtain a general understanding of a subject, and it is also focusing. We have to improve through our general knowledge. And next, it comes, for example, latest reading marketing strategy book, and you read a novel before going to bed. Intensive reading, it is focused on the specific um, and extract the information from the text. It is essential to understand each and every word when you use this intensive reading. Then intensive reading is also called as depth reading or a deep reading. So generally, you just focus of these four skills. You have to improve your reading skills. Not only this, communication, that means it's like an act only. And that means you first need to develop the art. Rather, I suggest to improve your art of communication, making an eye contact and of your body language and voice tonality, and being proactive. So these all starts to improve your communication. And keep a short note on yourself. In which you have to keep it all difficult words and train your brain as very well, and you have to increase your reading power. uh, are you reading at the moment? Are you writing at the moment? Not in the class, not use of the class notes. Are you writing something? You just focus this. if you are not reading, if you are not writing, are you watching something? Are you watching any others videos on YouTube? Your brain has so many ways to improve and receive the information. Communication skills is an art, and it is like a muscle, and it can be developed. Actually, I don't know who said this famous quote, but it tells some of the things and its features like communication work for those who work on it. And then if you work on communication, you will better. And if you work on art to convey your ideas to others, do work harder and you will get better. You will succeed. Thank you.